This is a Can Touch This video review, and you're with Gavin and Anthony.
Hello.
Sean.
Hello.
And Russell.
Hey.
This episode, I'm going to be looking at an app called Read It Later, and let me just load that up. Read It Later is very much, I guess, a app that you would use instead of, say, Instapaper. It's a service where you can save articles that you gather while browsing the web, save them offline for reading it later.
So
hence the name.
You pick ones that are like a bit long that you can't kind of skim. What you want ones that are kind of in depth-ish.
If I, first thing in the morning, I'll load up my Google Reader, I'll skim through it and go, that, I'm going to read it later.
Yeah. So how do you actually do that? How do you get them in?
Cool. So, very good point. If you had the
Good
app,
question.
the app itself, I think, is $4 or $5.99.
It's $5.99.
$5.99.
Yeah, I had to buy it for this.
Yeah. It's $5.99. If you want to be able to save from bookmarks and while online, you need to have the pro version.
Yeah, 'cause there's a light one.
Yeah, there's a free version which just lets you kind of save, I think, through the app, or not as easily as through your browser or through Twitter or a whole host of things like that. So you have to pay for the app to get those type of features. And then if you want to go above that, there is an in-app purchase. I think it's another $5.99, which gives you a digest mode. And I'll get to the digest mode in a moment, but looking at it in landscape, what I can see here are all of my articles that I've saved for later. If I go to one, let's say I'll select, I had a MacTalk article here at one stage.
Can you search for articles in the top corner, the little search?
Yes.
Cool.
So what I've got here is, it's jumped straight to where I was last reading it.
It's cool.
Yep. So whether I was reading it on iPhone, by the way, universal app.
So it's saying you buy it once.
Buy it once, goes on both. And depending on where I was last reading it, be that through my web browser or iPhone or iPad, it'll actually jump to where I last was. But let me just scroll up to the top. So what I'm looking at here is obviously the web version. If I switch the cross, it'll download a text-only version. And the layout is quite nice. You can go less or more if it's not picking up enough of the text from
the actual article.
Yeah, the actual article. You can adjust that up here by pressing more, scrolling through. I can also change text font, the size, the way that the paragraphs are spaced out, and also a contrast mode, so I can read everything in dark. Comes in handy when reading at nighttime.
Yep.
Switch back. I can also send it, open in Safari. I can copy it, email it, put it on Twitter, send it to...
So it actually integrates with the apps themselves, which is nice.
Yeah,
it does.
does.
I'm going to send it to Twitter as the mobile Safari version.
Yep.
It actually goes to Tweety, and you can get...
Yep.
It launches the app, puts it in... It's cool.
Yep, exactly. And I can submit it to Dig, a whole... There's actually
There's tons.
a whole host of things that you can do through it.
Reddit / tons there.
So close out that. I can go back. Also down the side here, I have my currently reading. So this is actually articles that I'm reading at the moment. And then what?
So in the currently reading section, they're articles that you've started.
Yes.
So you've tapped those
I've
ones
tapped.
in reading list. That's all of them.
Reading list is my current things that I haven't started reading and things that I'm currently reading.
Okay. So
things that I have read end up in my archive.
Okay.
And they disappear from my front list.
So the concept of read there is you've gone all the way to the bottom, is it?
Correct. Pretty much gone the way all the bottom, or there's a tick. You hit it, and so you might start reading and go, actually, this isn't what I wanted. Hit read it. It disappears from my list. And here I've got, obviously, my list of topics, which I can change.
And you made those topics?
It'll actually generate the topics based on the articles that I start saving, and that's part of the digest feature.
Oh, okay, so how do you know how it gets those topics?
I think it takes a lot of it from tags off the actual article itself.
Okay.
But here's the digest version, which takes my read it later list and lays it more out in a magazine based on my topic. So up the top here, I've got Apple. I've got some sports news here. I can scroll through. And then I can actually start scrolling across the top to different things. So I can go Apple, and now it just shows me my Apple articles that I've saved, and I can slide across there. And if I want to edit them, I can. I can add topics, remove topics, shuffle them around. I'll go cancel. Go back to my all. And let's say I look at this article here, and then I go red. It removes it from the front.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very cool. And that I can view on my iPhone, again, the web browser. Before the Read It Later app came out on iPad, the digest mode was actually a really good website to view on iPad.
Mm-hmm. So, can you view it on a Mac or a PC, like on a desktop computer?
There are, I think, other apps that have been made to work with Read It Later
on the Mac. And
yeah, there's different type of things like there's Safari extensions that'll allow you to view a page, hit a button, sends it to Read It Later. Mm-hmm. But I only use the web interface to read on my PCs.
Okay.
But there are, if you go,
so there is a web interface for Read It Later.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it looks a lot like this.
Okay, cool.
It looks a lot like this with the digest and just the...
so readitlate.com, I guess it is?
Yeah, Read It Later list. I think it's readitlist.com.
Okay, cool.
But we might put that in the show notes.
Yeah, there'll be a little subtitle at the bottom there. So if you're hearing it now, it'll be at the bottom there.
But yes, you can obviously search through things. If I typed in...
That's cool.
Richmond...
Because I know because I'm a big fan of Instapaper. I have in there a lot of content I haven't read yet. I might want to read something with a keyword. It'd be nice to search.
Yeah, definitely. You can search. If we go back, and let's say I go back to my
your full list, or even digest mode's got a search.
Yeah, not a search as such, but I can actually change what category it's in. So if I click on it. Videos are embedded, so I can play them through there. And I'm just trying to think, where do I change my... No, go back. No, it's about topics. There is a way where you can actually change... If an article is in, say, sports, and it should be in tech, you can actually say, actually, no, that's a tech article. Take it out of the sports section and move it across.
Okay, cool.
You can also flip through my categories. So look, it's like I said, I'm probably a bit more of a visual person when it comes to how I do my news. That's why I wasn't a huge user of Instapaper. So look, that's the app. It's like I said, it's $5.99 plus another $5.99 if you want the digest mode.
Yep.
But look, for me, it's something that I use daily, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
So out of 10, out of 5, how much?
Look, I'd give it 5. It does what it
5
does,
5. Brilliant.
And it does it. How I want it to happen, and universal app as well. So
even better.
Everywhere I am, got my news.
Nice.